Tonight, there is nowhere you need to hurry, and nothing you need to finish before you rest. You are standing beneath the broad stone porch of a quiet country house while a gentle rain moves across the garden. The roof above you is deep and sheltering. Behind you, the path has already softened into shadow, and ahead, one amber lamp glows beside a green-painted door. You can let the whole day remain outside with the rain. For now, it is enough to notice the calm sound of water falling from leaf to leaf and the steady warmth of the lamp beside you. If you'd like another quiet place to return to on a future night, you're always welcome to subscribe. In one hand, you hold a closed navy umbrella. In the other rests a small brass key, smooth at the edges from many years of use. A paper label is tied to it with green thread, though there is no need to read anything in the dim light. You already know that the key opens this door, and that beyond it a room has been prepared for you. No one is waiting for an answer. No bell needs to be rung. The house is quiet, the garden is quiet, and your arrival has been expected in the easiest possible way. You place the tip of the umbrella into a copper stand beneath the porch. A few drops slide down its dark fabric and gather without sound. Then you bring the brass key to the lock. It turns with a soft, well-oiled click. The green door opens inward, and a mild current of warm air reaches you, carrying the faint scents of polished wood, dried herbs, and rain-cooled stone. Inside is a narrow entrance hall with a black and cream tiled floor. A shaded lamp stands on a small table. Beneath it waits a shallow ceramic bowl, empty except for a folded note and a sprig of lavender. You set the brass key in the bowl, and the simple sound it makes is soon absorbed by the house. The note is written in a round hand. The conservatory is warm. Tea is ready to make. Rest as long as you like. There is comfort in how little is asked of you. You do not have to meet anyone, explain anything, or decide what comes next. A row of wooden pegs runs along the wall, and you hang your damp coat on the nearest one. The fabric settles into place. You loosen your shoes, feeling the quiet relief of being indoors, then follow the soft line of lamps farther into the house. The corridor is painted the color of sage leaves. Old framed sketches of ferns and climbing roses hang at generous intervals, each one faded enough to belong to the walls rather than call for attention. A runner lies beneath your steps, thick and quiet. On your left, closed doors lead to sleeping rooms and sitting rooms that remain dark. On your right, tall windows look toward the inner garden, where rain beads on the glass and turns every distant hedge into a wash of blue and green. You walk slowly, because slow is the natural pace of this place. With each step, the sounds of the outside world become less distinct. The rain remains, but it is no longer weather you must cross. It has become part of the house, a patient tapping at the windows, a soft brushing through ivy, a silver thread running from roof to earth. At the end of the corridor, the floor changes beneath you. The runner ends, and your feet meet smooth green tiles that hold a gentle, stored warmth. Ahead stands a pair of glass doors framed in dark wood. Beyond them, the conservatory glows. For a moment, you simply look. The room is larger than you expected and calmer than any room has a right to be. Its glass roof rises in quiet arches, each pane dark with the night and patterned with moving rain. Brass lanterns hang from curved supports, their amber light resting on broad leaves, terracotta pots, and a tiled floor that reflects only soft shapes. Ferns fill low beds along the walls. Jasmine winds around an iron trellis. A lemon tree stands in a blue ceramic tub, its leaves glossy and still. Near the center of the room is a round wooden table with a small teapot, one cup, and a covered dish. Beside it waits a deep green reading chair, broad enough to hold you without effort. A folded woven blanket lies across one arm. Nothing here is arranged for display. Everything has been placed for use and then left alone. You open the glass doors. The conservatory air is warmer than the corridor, touched with the clean green scent of leaves and damp soil. Somewhere, a small heater gives a low, even hum. The rain sounds fuller under the glass roof, yet never loud. Thousands of drops arrive separately and become one continuous hush. You step inside and close the doors behind you. The latch settles gently. Now the conservatory holds you within its circle of light. On the round table, the teapot is empty, but a small kettle waits on a warming plate. Beside it is a jar of linden leaves and a little dish of honey. You lift the kettle and feel that it is already warm. A switch clicks beneath your finger, and soon the first quiet movement of water begins inside. Not a boil, not yet, only the smallest stirring. While you wait, you walk once around the table. There is no need to explore the whole room, but the conservatory reveals itself naturally as you move. A narrow path of square tiles circles between the plant beds. Here stands a cluster of maidenhair fern, every delicate leaflet holding a point of light. There, white jasmine flowers open among dark vines. Farther on, pots of rosemary and mint gather near a low bench, releasing almost invisible traces of fragrance into the warm air. Against one wall, beneath a lantern, is a small brass garden clock. It is round, with a cream face and simple black hands. The clock has stopped at 20 minutes past 9, though the true hour does not matter tonight. A winding key hangs from a green cord beside it. You take the key and fit it into the back of the clock. One turn, then another. The spring answers with a faint, tidy resistance. When you set the clock upright again, its second hand begins to move. Tick, then space. Tick, then space. The sound is so small that it does not compete with the rain. It simply gives the room a quiet center, as if reminding everything within the glass walls that time can pass without being measured or managed. The kettle gives a muted click. You return to the table and lift its lid. Warm steam rises, softening the air before your face. You spoon linden leaves into the teapot, pour the water, and replace the lid. The leaves need a few minutes, and those minutes belong entirely to themselves. You sit in the deep green chair. The cushion yields slowly beneath you. The chair supports your back, your shoulders, the weight of your arms. You can feel how much effort you have carried without noticing, and how easily the chair accepts it. Your feet rest on the warm tile. The woven blanket remains folded beside you, ready whenever you want it. Across the conservatory, rain travels down the glass in wandering paths. Some drops pause against the metal frames. Others join together and move more quickly, making silver lines through reflections of lantern light. Outside, The garden is almost entirely dark. A gravel path appears and disappears beneath the rain. The rounded shape of a hedge rests under the night. Beyond it, old trees stand without detail, safe and far away. You breathe in the scent of linden leaves and warm pottery. You breathe out, and the day loosens a little more. There is no special way to breathe here. The room is not asking you to become calm. It is simply calm around you, and your body may take what it needs. Perhaps your jaw softens. Perhaps your hands grow heavier where they rest. Perhaps your eyes enjoy closing for a moment before opening again to the amber room. The tea is ready when you decide it is ready. You lift the lid and see that the water has turned a pale gold. A small spoonful of honey slips into the cup and disappears. Then the tea follows, making the ceramic warm between your palms. The first sip is mild and floral, with just enough sweetness to feel cared for. Warmth travels slowly through you. It reaches the center of your chest, then settles lower, quiet and steady. You take another sip only when the first has fully passed. On the table beneath the covered dish are 2 small oat biscuits. They are plain, lightly crisp at the edges, and flavored with a little orange peel. You take one. It breaks softly, without scattering crumbs, and tastes of grain, butter, and the faint brightness of citrus. The simple food makes the room feel even more complete. Tea, a biscuit, rain, a chair. Nothing is missing from the moment. The garden clock continues its unhurried ticking. After a while, you notice a narrow wooden cabinet near the lemon tree. Its doors are carved with a pattern of overlapping leaves. One stands slightly open. Inside are gardening gloves, clean cloths, balls of twine, small hand tools, and rows of paper packets. Each object has its place, not with strictness, but with the natural order that comes from many quiet evenings of use. On the cabinet shelf lies a thin ledger bound in faded green cloth. A pressed fern marks a page near the middle. You do not open it yet. It is enough to know that it waits there, containing notes about seasons, seeds, and rain that fell long before tonight. You finish the biscuit and take another sip of tea. The rain shifts slightly, becoming finer. Against the roof, it sounds like fingertips moving over silk. Along one gutter, water pours in a smooth, distant ribbon. The conservatory gathers each sound and rounds its edges. Your gaze returns to the jasmine vine. One long stem has slipped free from its trellis and leans toward the path. Beside the cabinet is a coil of soft green twine and a pair of blunt garden scissors. The small task feels inviting, not necessary. You set down your cup and rise when you are ready. The warm tile is steady beneath your feet. You carry the twine to the trellis and stand among the pale flowers. Their fragrance is softest at first, then clear, green, sweet, and cool. You lift the wandering stem with 2 fingers. It is lighter than you expected. There is no thorn, no resistance. The vine seems only to have been waiting for a little direction. You guide it back toward the iron curve and loop the twine around both stem and trellis. Once, then gently again. The knot need not be tight. It only needs to hold the vine near enough that, in the days ahead, it can choose the rest of its path. When you step back, the change is almost invisible. Yet the small act leaves a quiet satisfaction. Something living has been supported. Nothing has been forced. The jasmine rests against the trellis, white flowers turned toward lantern light. You return the twine to the cabinet. Nearby, a copper watering can sits beneath a tap. A wooden marker tucked into the rosemary pot reads Thursday, but there is no demand in the word. The soil at the surface looks dark and moist. Tonight, the plants have enough. That is a pleasant truth to discover. They have enough. The ferns have enough shade and water. The lemon tree has enough warmth. The jasmine has enough support. The house has enough light. And in this room, for this hour, you also have enough. You close the cabinet door until it rests lightly against its frame, leaving the ledger outside. Then you carry the book to the chair. The green cloth cover is cool and faintly textured beneath your hand. There is no title on its spine. Back in the chair, you unfold the woven blanket. It is heavier than it looks, made of soft wool in bands of moss green, cream, and muted gold. You draw it across your lap and feel its weight settle from your knees to your waist. The edges fall neatly at either side. Warmth gathers almost at once. The tea remains comfortably hot. You place the ledger on the blanket and open it where the fern has been pressed flat. The writing is old-fashioned but easy to follow. Each page records small garden events without urgency. The first snowdrops seen beside the east wall. 3 lemons gathered in late winter. Mint moved to a larger pot. A blackbird building a nest above the toolshed door. Rain beginning after sunset and continuing until dawn. There are no great events in the ledger, and that is why it is soothing. Year after year, the pages notice what grows, what rests, what returns. Bulbs disappear into soil and emerge months later. Leaves fall and become dark earth. A cutting placed in water develops fine white roots. Nothing hurries, yet much is always quietly happening. You turn a page. One entry describes the conservatory during a storm many years ago. The wind moved through the garden, but inside, the lanterns remained lit and the glass held firm. A family of moths sheltered beneath the broad leaves of the lemon tree. In the morning, the writer found them still there, pale wings folded, waiting for the weather to pass. Tonight there is no storm, only gentle rain. Yet the thought of those small moths resting under leaves adds another layer of safety to the room. This conservatory has sheltered delicate things before. It knows how to keep still around them. You let your eyes lift from the page to the lemon tree. Its leaves are dark green and glossy. Between them hang 3 small fruits, not yet ripe, each one the size of a walnut. They will take their time. Weeks of water and quiet light will pass through them. Their skins will slowly brighten. No attention is required from you now. The garden clock ticks. The rain whispers. The lanterns burn with steady, sheltered flames. You read another entry about a bed of night-scented flowers planted beyond the glass doors. On a warm summer evening, their fragrance filled the conservatory after dark. The writer opened every window at the top of the roof and sat awake for an hour, listening to the garden breathe. A small sketch shows 5 petals, a stem, and 1 curled leaf. You can imagine the room in summer. The roof windows open to a violet sky. Warm air moves among the ferns. The tiles hold the day's heat. Yet the image does not pull you away from tonight. It simply joins the many seasons resting within this place. Tonight, autumn rain darkens the garden paths. The conservatory holds a gentler climate of its own. You are neither outside nor entirely inside, but in a warm glass room between house and garden, where weather may be heard and watched without needing to be endured. You close the ledger for a while and rest one hand on its cover. The teacup fits neatly into the other. Your shoulders have lowered. Your breathing has found a slower rhythm without instruction. The blanket holds steady warmth against your legs. Far beyond the garden, somewhere past the fields and sleeping lanes, the larger world continues. Roads shine beneath rain. Clocks move through their hours. A late train crosses a bridge, too distant to be heard. Lamps go out in upstairs windows, but none of that asks anything of you. The conservatory is your whole world for now. One chair, one table, one cup, and a roof softly written over by rain. You drink the last of the tea. At the bottom of the cup, the honey leaves a final mild sweetness. You set the cup on its saucer and hear the quiet touch of ceramic against ceramic. Beside the chair is a low wooden footstool. You draw it closer and lift your feet onto it. The movement lets you settle farther back. The chair supports the back of your head. The blanket rises slightly over your knees and falls again. Above you, water traces the sloping roof panes. In the lantern light, each drop appears for a moment, travels a little way, then vanishes beyond the frame. You do not need to follow any single one. Your eyes can rest on the whole soft pattern. The pages of the ledger wait, but you may be finished reading. There is no rule that a book must be completed. You place the pressed fern back between the pages and set the ledger on the table. Its stories will remain. On another night, someone may open it to the same place and find the same small record of lemons, moths, and summer flowers. The room seems quieter now, though the rain has not stopped. Perhaps you have simply become part of its quiet. You notice the corners of the conservatory one by one. Near the eastern wall, broad leaves overlap like green hands. Beside the doors, an empty basket waits for cut herbs. Under the table, the shadows are warm rather than dark. Along the roof supports, jasmine stems cross and recross in patient lines. Nothing moves quickly. Nothing appears suddenly. Every shape has been here all evening and will remain as you rest. Your eyelids lower for a few breaths. With your eyes closed, the conservatory becomes sound and warmth. Rain above, a tiny clock nearby, the nearly silent hum of the heater, your own breath arriving and leaving, the blanket's weight, the chair beneath you. When your eyes open again, the lanterns look softer. Their light has not changed, but your gaze no longer reaches for detail. The room can blur at its edges. Ferns become green shadow. Terracotta pots become low amber shapes. The garden beyond the glass becomes one deep field of blue. There is a small lever beside the chair connected to a brass reading lamp. You turn it down one notch. The pool of light around the table narrows. The glass roof seems higher, the night calmer. You turn it down once more, and now only enough light remains to see the cup, the book, and the folded edge of the blanket. Across the room, the hanging lanterns continue to glow. They make long, quiet reflections on the wet tiles. One reflection bends around the leg of the table. Another dissolves among fern leaves. Their amber shapes tremble only when rainwater moves beyond the glass. You think of the path that brought you here. The sheltered porch, the brass key, the green door, the sage-colored corridor. Every part of that path now lies behind you, complete. There will be a path out again in the morning, but you do not need to walk it now. Morning can wait beyond the dark garden. This hour belongs to rest. Perhaps there are thoughts that followed you into the house, plans, fragments of conversation, small, unfinished concerns. They may stay if they wish. You do not need to push them out. The conservatory is large enough to hold them without letting them crowd you. Imagine placing each thought on an empty shelf of the wooden cabinet, beside the twine and seed packets. Nothing is lost. Everything can be found tomorrow if it is still needed. One thought settles beside the gardening gloves. Another rests near the paper packets. A question without an answer can lie beside the little brass tools. The cabinet door closes gently, not locked, simply closed for the night. The rain continues its soft work on the roof. It washes dust from the outer glass. It darkens the soil around roots. It gathers in stone basins and narrow gutters. It asks the garden for nothing. It only falls, and the garden receives it. Your breath can be like that, arriving without effort, leaving without effort. No breath has to be deep or perfect. Each one is simply received, then released. The clock marks another minute in tiny, even steps. You let your hands rest open on the blanket. Warmth has reached your fingertips. The chair's high sides create a sheltered space around your shoulders. If you turn your head slightly, the fabric is soft against your temple. The scent of jasmine is fainter now, blended with linden tea and damp earth. Scents often soften when you have been in a room for a while. They become part of the background, like a familiar voice in another room, present without requiring attention. Outside, the rain becomes lighter again. Individual drops can be heard along the lower panes. Tap, then a long space. 2 taps together, a small trail of water slipping into the gutter. The roof no longer carries a continuous hush. Instead, there are quiet intervals, and those intervals feel even more restful. In one of them, you hear a leaf release, a drop onto the tile near the lemon tree. In another, the garden clock ticks 3 times. In another, there is only your breathing. The conservatory does not become silent. True silence is not needed. It offers something kinder, steady sounds that tell you all is well. Rain means the roof is sheltering you. The clock means the room is settled. The heater means warmth is being kept. Your breathing means your body knows what to do. You draw the blanket a little higher, over your waist and toward your chest. Its woven edge is smooth beneath your fingers. The wool carries the faint scent of cedar, as though it has been stored in an old wooden chest through the summer. The green chair holds you securely. There is no possibility of slipping, no need to keep yourself upright. Your muscles can give their weight to the cushion one area at a time. The muscles around your eyes may rest. The space between your eyebrows may smooth. Your tongue may rest easily, your teeth no longer touching. Your shoulders may sink into the chair. Your hands may grow still beneath the blanket. Your legs may feel warm and pleasantly heavy. Nothing needs to happen all at once. Even a small degree of softening is enough. The old house around the conservatory is resting too. Timbers settle with sounds too faint to notice. Pipes hold warm water behind the walls. The corridor lamps continue to burn at their lowest setting. Your coat hangs from its peg, slowly drying. The navy umbrella waits in the copper stand beneath the porch. The brass key remains in the bowl beside the lavender sprig. Everything you arrived with has been safely placed. The image of the key is comforting. You used it when you needed to enter. Now it rests. A key does not wonder about the next door while it lies in a bowl. It does not rehearse the turning. It simply keeps its small shape and waits until morning. You can wait in the same uncomplicated way. The rain draws one last broad line down the central window. Beyond it, the garden path shines for a moment beneath a distant lamp. Then the water moves on, and the path fades into blue darkness again. You close your eyes. Behind your eyelids, the amber lanterns remain as a soft glow. The conservatory is still there, even when you are not looking. The ferns continue holding their delicate leaves. The jasmine rests against its newly tied support. The 3 small lemons hang quietly in the tree. The garden clock moves through its patient circle. You do not need to witness any of it. The room can keep watch for itself. Minutes pass, though they are difficult to count. Perhaps you drift near sleep and return for a moment. Perhaps a thought rises, becomes transparent, and disappears. Perhaps the rain enters a deeper part of your dreaming before you know that sleep has begun. The conservatory asks only that you remain as long as you need. Its glass roof holds the night above you. Its green walls hold the garden around you. Its lanterns hold small circles of warmth. The chair and blanket hold you. There is nothing left to tend. The tea is finished. The jasmine is secure. The ledger is closed. The clock has been wound. Every small task has found its ending. Now the rain can become farther away. The glass roof can become a dim, sheltering sky. The amber light can fade behind your closed eyes. And you can rest. You can let the next breath come by itself. You can let the next thought pass without following it. You can let the weight of the blanket deepen. The garden is watered. The house is quiet. The door is locked against the weather, and the key is safe inside. There is nowhere else to go tonight. Only the chair beneath you. Only the warm room around you. Only the last soft drops of rain moving over glass. And then, little by little, even those sounds seem to drift beyond the garden, beyond the hedges, beyond the sleeping fields, until all that remains is warmth, darkness, and the gentle, unmeasured quiet of sleep.